Oh, this is good.
Hey Sam, are you gonna get to your video?
Yeah, I guess. Oh man, this was nice. Okay, check this out. This is the new generation Range Rover. This thing is quite a beast. Today I'm gonna show you everything you need to know about this. The design, we're gonna take it for a drive as a passenger and as a driver. I'm gonna have my good friend Mark from Bud's JLR located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. They're a very unique dealership, especially because of that beautiful design they have. The special thanks goes to them for making this possible, but most importantly, they gave me a chance to do it indoors because it is actually raining out there, although now it's stopped. A British car, a rainy day, it makes perfect sense. It was meant. Nonetheless, special thanks goes to them for allowing me to borrow this new generation Range Rover and show you everything you need to know about it. And most importantly, we're gonna take this for a drive to see how this thing handles on the road. But first, let's talk about some of the exterior designs. Let's start with the front end fascia. We have this beautiful headlight, which now is very different, but yet inspired by the previous generation. I love that square design, and this looks like a hockey stick. Beautiful, and most importantly, the grille now has changed. It's a different design, more so like the previous generation, but sort of innovative. They managed to bring that kind of design into this without going away completely from that special, unique, innovative design that they use in their Range Rovers. This is a car that the Queen of England would be proud of, and I'm sure she probably is going to place an order with Bud's JLR, but let's not talk about that now. The bottom over here, we have the beautiful fog lights. Now, one thing you need to know about this is that this is the Autobiography. So if we get close over here, you can tell it's an Autobiography. And most important, this is the long wheel base. Yes, you can get a standard one or the long wheel base. And look at these wheels. Can you guess the size? I'll tell you, 23 inch. Yes, these things are 23 inch. They're massive, but you know what? It fits the car perfectly. You can see the Autobiography letters over here. That's how you can tell that this is an Autobiography. And most importantly, if you go close here, you have the VIN number, but it says there P530 Autobiography. But you don't see a P530 on the outside anywhere. And then we jump into the back over here. Look at this. Very smooth, sleek, nothing. We only have a Land Rover badge located onto this side, but that's it. And of course, the letters in the center say Range Rover. One thing that absolutely blows my mind with this thing is the fact that they didn't change the actual key fob. This should have been the first thing they should have updated, so that's a bit disappointing, I have to say. But let's talk about the actual lights, the tail lights specifically. The design here is that everything, the turning signal, is into this tail light. So you can see it in red now for the actual daylight running lights and of course the brakes as well, but it's a split in half. And then if we do through the remote here, the key fob, we do that, it just gets brighter. So everything is in one, but it's so smooth and sleek all the way through. You can't even tell from when it's off. So when it's off, you can't see anything. You don't even know where the tail lights are. It's just nice and smooth all the way across. And then if we use the actual remote control here, the key fob, you press that and we have a split tailgate. So look at this thing here. So we have a split tailgate, similar to what you find, for example, the BMW X5, and then we have a divider here. So that way things don't move around. That's very smart. And then you can also do it on the other side. So you have two ways to do it. Onto the side over here, we have the control unit. This is powered, of course, by the actual air ride. So what you can do is lower the vehicle from here, or you can raise it. And most importantly, you can fold the seats, the second row and the third row with those buttons located into there. And then press this button over here and you can close the tailgate completely. But I want to show you how beautiful this thing is, and the long wheelbase is an absolute looker. And most importantly is the fact that they haven't moved much from that previous generation. So it's still very similar to that. So customers will not really get confused or dislike the car, because sometimes it's very hard to bring a new design into the market and please everyone. But with this, they have pretty much made it perfect in a way that even the current customers will enjoy such car. Now let's talk about the engine. The long wheelbase has a 4.4 liter V8 making 523 brake horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. It uses, of course, an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a front engine. It's an all-wheel drive. You can get a 4 to 5 or even a 7-passenger or a 4-door wagon. Now, in terms of the actual price, in the US, you're looking at about $106,000. You have the P450, and you can go all the way to the Autobiography, which in the US is about $153,000, and all the way to the SV, which is $188,000 USD, and you're looking over 200K Canadian. The price in Canadian should be on the screen. But that's what this thing offers, and most importantly, this has quite a lot of tech features. But what I love the most about this is the fact that you got a beautiful V8 in this long wheelbase vehicle. Like, that's just crazy, but it needs it because it's too heavy, so a small inline six that this does offer will not do the job. Now let's talk about the exterior design features. One thing that I noticed with this is, of course, the side skirt. If you look carefully, it's extended out, and then it goes all the way through to this side, the diffuser, all the way through around it. So it's a nice, smooth design. Absolutely love the little details about this car. Now let's talk about the door handles and most importantly the doors. First, you have soft closing, of course. It is a standard thing with many ultra luxury vehicles. And then we have this pop-out door handles, and most importantly, in case if one of them breaks and you can't open it, there's actually a key part over here that you can insert the key there to open it. Of course, it has the actual side mirrors which you can fold once you lock the vehicle, and if you walk away from it, the vehicle locks automatically, and look at that, and now they just fold completely. Now let's talk about the second row. Let's open the door here and let me show you some of the cool things about this. First of all, the door panel over here, this beautiful wood trim, and most importantly, the beautiful leather, very signature-like for the Range Rover. And we have these buttons that you see over here which do a lot of things. So for example, we have for the lights here, reading lights, laptop lights, we have for the center sign shade as well. And most importantly, what you have in here is a very interesting button. So this has powered sunshades for both sides, and you can basically close and open each one individually or at the same time by pressing this button. If you look at the arrows over here, basically what they're showing you is that if you have it on the left side or the right side, in this case on the left side, you can lower the actual sunshade. Right now I don't have the vehicle on, but that's basically what it does. And I also don't want to keep it on inside to this area, not a good idea. It has a beautiful Meridian 1600 watts audio system. We have screens over here, entertainment unit at the back, touch screen. You can have the actual you can attach an HDMI cable, HDMI 1, 2, and of course it is connected to Wi-Fi. This is fully touchscreen. But here's one thing that absolutely blows my mind with this thing. First of all, the second row over here, what do you do if you want to get into the third row? Well, we have buttons over this side. I mean, probably some other vehicles do have this option, but what I love the most about it, if you look carefully, the seat moves forward and also the screen tilts. How good is that? And then you have access to the third row. Now the third row offers heated seats, and you can also adjust the power seat in the front with these two buttons located onto the side. We have a USB-C port. It's nice and comfortable. We have vents onto the side. At the top, the speakers, beautiful leather liner all the way through. And now that you're out of the vehicle, what you do is that you press this button and look carefully for that screen, how it will tilt to go into the perfect position. And then we have the seat going all the way back to the perfect position. Now, let's jump into the inside and let's talk about some of the things in here. Now, let's jump into the inside here and let's talk about some of the things. First of all, it's very quiet on the inside. It's actually quite enjoyable. You don't hear much, and the reason is very simple. You see, there is speakers on the headrest, and most importantly, it has the sound isolating on the inside, so you don't hear that much noise from the outside inside. Yeah, sounds a bit crazy, but what it does is that it kind of like separates the vehicle's interior sound with the exterior, so you hear very much less, and you have to give it to them. It actually sounds so quiet. And by the way, we're right beside a highway, so you're supposed to have a loud experience, but you hear almost none. Get into the center, we have the climate unit, the touchscreen. Of course, you have many options, including plugging in the HDMI, HDMI 2. There's many options that you can do with this. Like you have two HDMI ports you can connect to a TV streaming device or one of the HDMI ports. This, I don't know if you can adjust this. I believe you can't adjust it from here, so it stays in one position. I can't move it back and forth or up and down. There's no movement to this thing. But let's move on to the center. We have more space here. Then we have the front area for cup holders. We have a climbing unit. Those two buttons remind me of the Jaguar I-Pace. They were very similar. So you have the control for both sides, and of course you have the option for a heated seat and a ventilated seat. So once you press, it's a press option, so you press this and it will show you all of that. The beautiful design at the front. Now everything is changed there. We'll talk about that in a minute. The beautiful sunroof, panoramic roof all the way across. It's so comfortable in here, and for me it is just something, it feels spacious. We're gonna go for a drive as well, but let's jump into the front. Let me show you some of the other features there. Now we jump into the inside. The steering wheel is new. Love this beautiful design. And one thing I noticed is that it resembles the daylight running lights, this style over here. The buttons are very similar to what you find in the F-Pace, the Jaguar I-Pace as well. So things are not completely new on this side. And then we get into the door panel. We have more buttons. The actual switches for the seats are located onto the door panel, like a Mercedes style. Absolutely love that. And then we have a new digital cluster, which has a very unique shape. If you look carefully here, there's a very unique shape. And one thing I love about Jaguars in general, and Land Rovers in this case, is the sitting position for most cars. For me, as someone that is 6'2", the sitting position is almost perfect. And then we have the curved display, massive screen here, which it is touch screen. You cannot operate it otherwise, it's only touch screen. And then we have a built-in navigation. If you hear that ticking noise, so there is that feedback, that input that you know you're actually using the touchscreen. And then we have dynamic modes that you can control a lot of things, from the gear shifter, the steering, the engine, suspension system, and then you get into the menu. So this is very similar. If you watch the video of the new Jaguars, for example, or Range Rovers, you'll see that is very similar to that. We have vehicle dimensions. Also, the Defender has pretty much the same design, the same user interface. Companies tend to do that quite a lot. There's the cabin lighting as well, which gives you quite a lot of options. You can change the different modes. I love this ticking thing because it really makes me feel that I'm actually touching it. It's not just playing at it. I love that feedback. And then lots of options over here. And then if you're going to reverse, this has a full 360 camera. And if you press park, you can do a full 3D, so you can actually see around it. So I mean, this is not very new because it's been used in other vehicles, like the Defender has it, but it's new for the Range Rover. And then there's more option. You can access that camera automatically. You don't have to have it in reverse. 4x4 information. If you ever plan on taking this off-road, don't forget that this is a Range Rover, so it's meant to even go off-road. But what's important in here is that you have options to lock the differentials in case if you go off-road, and it does have low traction, weight sensing. There is so many things that you can do with this car. It's for day-to-day and off-roading at the same time. And then look at this, just tons of options. I love this massive screen. It doesn't really bother me as much, but what's important is that I'm looking directly into the screen, so the position it's almost perfect. Then into the center, we have this pop-out button which shows you different driving modes. You can change into whatever modes, and the air suspension system moves based on that. It raises and lowers the vehicle based on driving mode. It's similar to what you find in many other vehicles. The interior of this car is so welcoming and so luxurious, and the more I'm sitting inside, the more I notice that it's so quiet. Very, very quiet. Now let's get into this area. We have more space here, hidden cup holders, look at that. And then into the center here we have the actual fridge. So it's a cooler, not a fridge necessarily. We have some space here to use for your coins or business cards. And then we have a wireless charging pad which is located in there. But let's try my phone. That's the 13 Pro Max. Fits right in. It's actually perfect. Even if they make a bigger phone, which I'm sure they will, you can still fit it in there. The gear knob, it's what you find similar to other Jaguar. I believe the F-Pace SVR that I had pretty much the same one. Start button looking into the center, this beautiful wood finish trim. And then we jump into the side. We have two buttons over here for the lower glove box and the top one as well. And look at that. So they open automatically here, and the same thing for this side. So the interior is quite nice, and the Meridian audio system, which I can't play any music because YouTube will just ban me, really makes this very unique. The entire design here is fantastic. Now, I think it's time to take this for a drive. So we're going for a drive. Mark, who is a gentleman that works for JLR. Bud's JLR or JLR Buds?
Bud's Imported Cars.
Okay.
In Oakville, Ontario.
So he's kind enough that he's going to drive me around because I don't have anyone to help me be a passenger, so I can show you what it's all about. Mark, I feel like I'm in heaven.
This is a beautiful ride, Sam. Isn't it comfy back there?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have been in like really expensive car, like for example, the Maybach Mercedes GLS. It's nice.
Yeah.
But it's so quiet.
I know. It's super quiet in here. Like test drives, that's actually the best spot back there.
And you know what? I can use my phone because you're driving us around. And I love this. You know, it's so quiet from here. Like it's just, and there's power seats for passengers in the second row.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So this has headrest speakers.
For noise cancellation.
For noise cancellation.
So there's microphones in each wheel well that makes the cockpit even quieter while we're driving.
And I can adjust my seat, and I have heated seats and ventilated seats in the front. And this does have four-way steering.
It does, yes.
Because when you were taking the car out of that showroom, I could see the wheels turn. These cars need that. But man, I feel it's so quiet inside. Here's what I'm gonna do. I have a dB meter on my phone, and we're gonna be quiet for a bit just to see it. Are we taking a highway potentially?
Do you want me to?
I think we should.
Okay.
Just to really get to experience this thing. This V8 4.4 liter dB meter. And you don't hear the engine as much. Oh, that's a nice pull. There we go. There is barely any body roll from here. I'm not moving left and right. It's like I'm not sliding, and you're going into a sharp corner. Oh, keep sending it, Mark. Oh, this is glorious. It's so quiet on the inside, and the outside you can hear the engine, because when I started up, I could hear the engine rumble. Like I love that sound. But on the inside, and it's like butter in here.
Oh yeah, every V8 has that beautiful growl.
It's so comfortable. One thing that I wish it had is a way for me to adjust the seat in front of me.
Yeah, that would have to do in the front. But if we had the 5-seater with the executive rear class seats, then you would have those controls for
You'd
yourself.
have that option.
Yes, because we are in the 7-seater Autobiography. So it's the first ever 7-seater edition. So it's more for people comfort.
I love the sitting position here. I would rather be a passenger here for 8 hours than on a premium seats on a plane for 4 hours or 3 hours. Seriously, would take this any day. I feel so spoiled at the back. I rarely am a passenger, so thank you for joining us here.
Oh, my pleasure.
The screen here, I cannot adjust it at all, but somehow it doesn't have any buttons or anything like that, and I can't. So the only way this thing adjusts is based if I adjust the seat in the front.
That's right, yes.
That's the difference. But you know, one thing I find with entertainment units, Mark, is that with time they become obsolete because there's new models. But I understand why they offer them to people. And you have massage seats in the front
I do, yes.
for both passenger and yourself?
Yep, front right over here. Turn that on just like that. Heated seats, ventilated seats. I can also control the second row, third row as well, and also adjust the passenger seat. So I can actually adjust that seat for you after this turn.
Oh, look at that. You can do it right from there. So that's the cushion.
That's right. And there, and also I have different headrest control over here.
You can fold them. You can fold the headrest as well. Fold all of them. And what is the chauffeur one? Oh, it's the memory seats. There, I can see. So you can set a memory seat from there for all three of them.
That's right, yeah.
All three rows.
My heated seat got a little warm there.
I noticed. I'm like, why does he have a heated seat on? That is not good. I think that's for the cushion,
yes.
And that's for the seat, so you can adjust for the passenger. That's right. The only thing you can do from there. It would have been nice if it was some sort of option, but most importantly, I still have room, although the seat in front of me is so close to me. I'm 6'2", Mark, so I'm taller than the average individual. So for me, this would be very tough if it was tight,
yes.
But it's not, and I feel comfortable. Oh, the seat feels so nice, the sitting position. The armrest in the center, I have so much space. This is a huge armrest. I can put my phone, even my tablet actually. I could probably put my tablet in here. We have this beautiful metallic finish here and cup holders hidden. Oh, Mark, this is amazing. I love the lights. We have reading lights. Here's the thing, I love the fact that I can actually adjust the sunshades from here. So for example, I can adjust both at the same time or separately.
That's right.
This is something.
And this particular model even has the leather headliner, which is such a nice touch and actually easier to keep clean too.
It's a nice finish. You know what? Another thing they could have added to this is maybe a further sunroof all the way to the back. Would have been a bit special, but you still get light from there. The third row for myself would be tough. It's mostly for kids, which is understandable. Biggest competitors to this car are going to be the Escalade for sure.
Yes.
And to have that plug-in hybrid, when do you think that's going to be available in Canada?
So it's a 2023 model, so we're probably looking at another year and a half. We're almost up to a 2-year wait for these models right now for any
because
orders.
of the semiconductors. It's a known fact, everyone knows. I can see the cluster from here. I can see the details. That is a sharp cluster. That screen is huge in the center. That's a 12.3, correct?
That's right, yeah. And you can do a double dial, single dial. You can do a full map in this whole section, which is really easy.
You know, one thing I love about Jaguar Land Rover cars is that rear view mirror with the camera at the top. There is like 2 shark fins outside, but the quality of that camera. One day I was with my wife, I could see a guy picking his nose through there. I could not believe I could actually see it. It was super clear, and the way it's positioned, it goes straight into the windshield.
It does, yeah.
This is great. Do you want to jump in as a passenger and I can take it for a quick drive?
Yeah, I would love to.
Let's find a good spot and we can do that so you can enjoy your time here too.
Perfect, I'll just pull over.
It's quick for a heavy vehicle. This tows up over 10,000 pounds, I believe. So that's helpful too. So the V8 only comes. So the long wheelbase is the one that comes with the V8.
That's right. Yes.
Because this would be possible with the inline 6, I would assume.
That's right. Yes.
And then visibility is amazing. Besides the fact that I have that camera, I don't see anyone picking their nose yet. No. We haven't found one. But visibility is great. The comfort level, the ride is so smooth. It reminds me in some ways the Mercedes S-Class, but that is a sedan and it's much lower to the ground, so that's easier to adjust that suspension system. In this one, you're in a much higher vehicle and much heavier, and you also have 4-wheel turning. The cluster, absolutely love that. 8-speed automatic transmission does the job. Sweet, soft.
We'll be going towards Hamilton.
Sweet. Paddle shifters if you want to, in case you want to have some fun.
That's right.
It's enjoyable. I love that. One thing I just feel it's very high for me, maybe because I'm tall, but you're sitting so high. In some ways it's great because if you're in traffic, you can see what's ahead. So that way you can just switch lanes.
That's right.
The quality interior of what I love about Range Rovers is that this thickness of that leather. The you touch it, you can feel it. It's not, they haven't, as you'd say in normal terms, cheaped out.
No, and also like even the center console, how it's wood, but I like this finish here because it's not fingerprints. It's not, the piano black is a classic look, but with this, hides the fingerprints, keeps scratches away. I think that's a nice touch.
And you can tell the screen, there's like fingerprints everywhere,
Yes.
especially because I've used it, you used it.
Yep.
So I wish there was an option like BMW has where you have the center unit to control it, but
Yes.
nonetheless, the touchscreen is quite capable. Is that the, I'm assuming that's the suspension.
That's the differentials locking and
Differential.
unlocking as you're going through load.
Oh my God, as you're, oh, okay. I love the details. I've taken a Defender off-road so many times. If I get to have this as a press car, I'll take it off-road as well.
I love it.
I don't think I will, but imagine taking that off-road. It's,
So we'll go towards
how do you
Hamilton on
feel
far
at
right side.
at the back?
Oh, I love it back here. Like, it's a treat for me even to sit back here on a demo drive.
You haven't been as a passenger in the back of this.
Not recently, no, because we just got these a couple days ago, and so test drives have been really minimal because now we're reaching out to our deposits that we've done with clients and get them to experience the test drive.
The shape of this cluster is so unique.
But even the opening of the steering wheel lets you see so much through it.
This, yeah. One thing I noticed and I mentioned in the video is that the shape of this steering wheel reminds me of the daylight running lights.
Yeah, oh, that's, yeah, good point. Yeah.
That like that square design. It looks like a hockey stick as well, and then there is that square. Does that represent anything on the?
Not that I recall from that, but we're all about to go for training soon for that.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for allowing me to test drive this.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us, for being the driver and a passenger, so you got to really see the difference. I love the design of the exterior. This thing makes a statement as you're driving. I could actually see people looking at it when we're on the road.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a looker.
My favorite part about this car in terms of the design is that the design outside for the diffuser that continues around with those side skirts.
That's right.
That's a beautiful design. And the rear end that is very smooth.
Yes.
You can't see anything. There's no, like for example, we have the QX60 in front. I can see the taillights. This thing is completely blacked out. And unless you actually start it up or unlock it, you won't see anything.
That's right.
Love it. Very much enjoyed. Thanks, Mark.
It was a pleasure, Sam. Thank you, and pass by anytime.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.